Hello. Hello. Hello.
I'm hoping that it is actually like, yeah, it is. Okay, it is Monday. Cool, awesome. I'm gonna be real. There was a moment where I wasn't too sure what day it was there, because I was like, yeah, no, like Saturday night, like I stayed up late, and I wasn't really feeling streaming for that hour, because like the more and more I was doing the late night Saturday streams, the more I thought, oh, I'll get out of like the like tired mood and what have you, and I'll be enjoying the Saturdays. But yeah, on that last one there, it did not go as planned. It was a I'll be frank with you, I was very much not in the mood for going through Death Stranding late at the night on a Saturday, especially since I had like, I had eaten like quite a lot of food like that evening, like before it got late. I had put in like, I just made Saturday like a very full day for me somehow. And so that didn't play well into the doing something late Saturday night, which I think, as I shared on Blue Sky, I'm probably not the evening person I used to be like back in university. Like I'm no longer that kind of Zeebs. Like I'm no longer, if I'm up late at night, it's because of distractions, at the start of the evening or in the middle of the day, or I'm just gripped by some terrible thought in my head when I'm trying to go to sleep or something crazy like that. That's where I'm at. And so your morning Zeebs, yeah, I think because of like my commitment to the 9 to 5 and needing to stay like, I think because of the commitment to the 9 to 5 that I have with my full-time job, like I think I've slowly started becoming a morning person, or at the very least, not going for like the crazy nocturnal hours that might have been suitable for, someone that was like, oh, it's midnight, time to like, get, a couple more hours into the day before it goes away kind of thing. Like, that's not me anymore. Also, hi there, T-Pain. Welcome to the stream. Get yoinked, silly Zeebs. I can't get yoinked. I am busy right now. So yeah, so Sunday, I just did a silly render of like, me being sad, and I'm like, hey, I am blah 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 blah. I am now, I'm probably more of a morning person. I know that feeling with work, yeah. I think the thing is that just like living in Australia,
Go
like
suck a lemon.
you go suck a lemon, Masonic. I feel like with like just living in Australia and what have you, I'm just always going to have to contend with I'm just gonna always have to contend with that, like whatever time suits me may not be a time that suits Americans first and foremost. So, because that was kind of like the reason for doing the late night Saturday streams. I was doing that on a like unnamed like recommended it to me. They have like a really good eye for marketing and analytics because they've done that kind of stuff like before they did streaming, and they're really good at it now. Highly recommend checking out their stuff. And yeah, so I could see the benefit. I could see the benefit of trying to like do a stream that's more time appropriate for the Americans. But unfortunately, because I'm living in Australia, like there isn't really a good time that suits the Americans, unfortunately. Cuz like I'm 10 hours ahead of Greenwich, they're like 6 hours behind. So, there's like a 14-hour difference. So like, it isn't enough that it's like, oh, if they're fine with like, 7 p.m. streams, I'll get started at 7 a.m. It's like, no, if I wanted to try and, catch them on like, Saturday night or something like that, it's basically like an early Sunday morning for me, which, if I didn't have plans this Sunday, I probably would have given given the Sunday morning stream like an experimental try this week. Also, thank you for the cheese, Sir Dragon. That is a lovely looking cheese. So yeah, so Where's my brain at? So yeah, so oh, like, you know, this week's stream is, or this week's like schedule of streams is very bare bones. I will be real with you. Like, it is quite low. Like, if I, let me just, like, as you can see here, it's only, like, there's only 2 streams in this week. It's tonight's stream, Devil Monday Cry, and then Wednesday night stream for Death Stranding. Like, maybe, like, in the like, I've been experimenting with, like, you know, stream times and what have you, and the, you know, like, the potential, like, what would be good times, and unfortunately, like, unless I start putting way, like, I just feel like I'm in a bit of an odd spot. I just read Sir Dragon's, like, message, and I am just, like, that flashbanged me, I'm sorry to say. I'm just, like, blah. But yeah, I'm in this weird spot right now where, like, I, like, with trying to, like, you know, do so many things at once in terms of weight management, socializing with my existing friends, work, well, not studies, sorry, but, like, you know, just research. Like, I'm doing all these kinds of things, and the potentiality of, like, you know, trying to do more, I kind of worry, and I definitely felt it last week, like, back on Friday, or actually, no, back on Thursday, sorry, and then I was, like, kind of trying to recover on Friday, but, you know, I don't know if I did that well in some areas or not, but, like, a part of me is worried that, like, I'm a little burnt out is the thing. Like, that's a genuine concern. 'Cause, you know, you hear about people that, you know, when they do burn out and what have you, it's one of those cases of, like, they fall out of love with stuff, or they're just out of it for, have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Maybe. But the thing is that, like, the recovery from burnout isn't as simple as, oh, just, you know, switch off for the day and switch back on, because that was what Friday was. Well, that was the intention of Friday, was that Friday was a day where I wasn't working, and even when I wasn't working, I was still doing, like, something close to a job. I was doing, like, 3D, I was using VRM posing to do some funny renders, posting on my social medias, and a bit of my posting on social media felt a little more like, you know, at first it was like, oh, hey, this is just something fun and such, but then I had, like, this feeling of, oh, I posted too quickly on my social medias. I should have, like, as a media coordinator kind of hat, I should have, like, padded out the things that I wanted to post and such, so then that way, you know, because more often than not, my Blue Sky and my Twitter only only do activity when I'm posting that I'm like, you know, a stream is upcoming and I'm gonna be live and such. I should have, you know, padded it out, so then that way there was a post, like, in between some of those things, rather than just, you know, putting, like, 2 or 3 posts in on Friday. Like, that, like, there was a part of me that was like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. Bleh. Indeed, Omega. Bleh. Aye. So yeah, so that was what the weekend was like for me. Like, Saturday, I just, you know, I streamed for, like, an hour tops, and I was, yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't want to go through, Devil May Cry, sorry, not Devil May Cry. I didn't want to go through Death Stranding that evening. I wanted to, like, I spent so much in the middle of the day hanging out with Blue and Jack, and I really enjoyed myself there. And I, like, you know, told myself, hey, I need to hop off. I need to leave you guys for a few, because I'm going to be live, like, you know, in about 2 hours or something like that. And, you know, 2 hours passes, and I'm like, I'm kind of done. Like, I'm kind of done energy-wise for the day. I felt bloated, I felt tired, I felt like all these negative things on Saturday. So then Sunday, I was just trying to recover from all that. and then Monday, not work today, and, you know, I kind of almost did a repeat. I did a repeat, basically, of what I was doing back on Saturday, which was, you know, I woke up in the morning, I felt like, you know, I caught up on King of the Hill, I ate some games with Jack, and just, you know, communicated with peeps online and such, but then it's like, oh, I've done too much in the afternoon/late afternoon that I needed to, like, you know, take a break real quick. So I went for, like, I rested, I took a shower before all this, and, you know, fast forward to now. This is where I am. Also, Devil May Cry. Sorry. I had no good, like, you know, I had no good trick for transitioning to Devil May Cry, I'm sorry to say. So this is what, so yeah. If I was a clever Zeebs, there would be better transition methods, but, you know, I didn't do that very well. So yeah. Good bimbo rating, by the by, Omega Platinum. Nice work. So yeah. Yeah. I don't see Cap around, so I guess they're not. Yeah, well, if they spot me in the VC, then I'll, you know, have them at least stream the thingamadiggy, so then that way they have the opportunity to watch it. Alrighty then. So, we made some really good progress the last time we were playing this. Like, last time we went from, like, secret ingredient all the way down to the plan. Like, we did 10 chapters on the PlayStation. This was really good, because when I played this on PC, I was getting stuttering nonsense and what have you. Still getting stuttering nonsense, hence why playing it on the PlayStation. But yeah, back on PC, I, like, went through, like, 5 chapters and was kind of getting a little annoyed with, like, the quality of the game on my PC build, because it's, like, the Ship of Theseus thing. But yeah, I was able to start playing it on PlayStation, and it worked out really, really great. Banana Dragon. The fuck is a banana dragon? You throw these phrases at me, Sir Dragon, and maybe either I'm too chronically online or I'm not chronically online enough to understand what that phrase is.
Mundus's chamber is located at the top of the core. There, you will reunite with Virgil. Be careful. The souls of the damned are channeled through here. Don't get caught up in the stream, whatever happens. Good luck, Dante. You're on your own from here.
Okay, do not jump while there's a fire. Oh. Oh yeah, it takes a lot of health out of you. Let me just wait for the... There we go. Here we go. Oh, not safe for work direct. Okay, we don't talk about the Discord on, especially that part of the Discord on stream, I'm sorry to say, because of the very simple fact of, you know, it's not safe for work, and just the added fact that, you know, coming up, like, I am looking to, like, decommission the Discord as well. Like, invitations have been turned off for, like, the last, basically month. Oh boy. Okay, let me just... we go. There we go. I am not doing too well. Oh, Jesus. Alright, so he's dead. And you are going to be a problem. Come on, do your thing. Oh, god damn. No, we're gonna use game over here. It's way too early, so restart level at this point, because, yeah, I lost so much health with the platforming. I'll get back into it, don't you worry. Don't you worry. But yeah, like... I've not been putting focus on the Discord, and...
There,
at one point I will, like, just decommission it, so then that way it is just simply a,
Don't get caught up in the stream.
blah 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 blah. It just turns into a, you know, a personal... Oh, there we go. Wasn't what I wanted to have happen, but here we are. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. So... what is going on there? There we go. Alright, here we go. Oh, was I meant to be here? Or... go. I don't like how long this, what's in the lasts. I'll be real with you. Alright, I don't have as much health loss. Also, why is he... Okay, annoying as F. Alright, that was a little bit easier than last time, but yeah, I still got my ass kicked in there, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't have the, And I can't reach that, whatever that is, so... Let's just get some green while we're at it, and... Going. Oh, okay, you want me going over there next. Alright, let's wait for the Whatsamahoozy to stop this thing. What the fuck? Alright, where did I go? Oh. So it wants me going this way. Never mind. Thankfully, I can just stand on these platforms, like, forever. It's not a problem. Do this. Here, I suppose. Alright, so, just secret. That's fine. That's fine. Secret's fine. Ugh. How's everyone else, like, feeling, like, you know, with the... basically we're approaching, like, a new week. So, it's the start of the week for me. I'm, you know, doing the usual work tomorrow, as you are no doubt aware. Ah, he doesn't like getting attacked by angelic shit. That's annoying. Oh, come on! God damn you! That's annoying. Alright, let's have a look. So, Demon Evade is right trigger and Thingy-Majiggy increases. It's fine. Oh, that's to get to the secret door. Honestly, that secret door might be useful, so then that way we can, like, get a health reboost. So, let's see. What challenge does this give us? Because if it gives us, like, another health shard, I think that will be enough to boost my health, which means I get full health. Kill all enemies. Dante dies with 1 hit. Excellent. Kill him. There we go. Awesome. Hopefully that gives us full health on the way out. Oh, hey, it doesn't give us a health shard. It gives us a demon thing. Interesting. Devil triggered cross-frag and collect 4 of them. Oh well. Now, does this give me full health on the way out? No, it does not. You sneaky bastards. Oh. Fine. We'll use the gold orb here, because holy shit, I do not want to... Yeah. This makes... Oh my god, and the platforming, like, it burns me before the health thingamajiggy goes off as well. That's annoying. Alright. Here. And don't. Oh, come on. GrantZeebs is not really good at the platforming, it seems. Yes! And just brute force that guy. And now I gotta deal with this guy. Damn it, did not see where he was. There we go. Hi there, Goldie. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're doing all right. How's it going? There we go. Ow. Fuck you. Yes! The Dream Runner's painful, annoying. They're kind of cool, like, in isolation, but if I have to deal with any of the other, you know, enemies or demons, oh boy, is it a, you know, annoying experience. And what's more is I've had to use the gold orb on this level, which means that there is most certainly going to be some, like, oh, let's see if I can get to the thingamadiggy before it burns me. No, it burns me. God darn you, sir. Oh yeah, and it burn, like, I feel like it's gonna burn you, like, even if you do a good job. Damn. Thank goodness it's over. But oh my goodness, I got a D rank for that because I used I died and I used an item. Oh well. Next mission, Demon's Den. So I think Virgil is back with us at this point. Turbo mode increases the game speed by 20%. It can be activated on the pause menu. Cool. This is a very neo-gothic look. Although it looks like we're in the inside of like a technomancer.
You made it. You make quite the team. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better looking. Bonus is behind the vault door. Let's not keep him waiting.
Alright.
And I got a bigger dick.
Nah. You just had to get that out there. Alright. Oh boy. Okay.
What's happening?
They must know we're coming.
Just as Cat predicted. So, what do we have to do here again?
Kickstart the backup generators in Limbo to overload the system so I can hijack the quantum encryption algorithms.
That's it. But, could you say that first bit again?
So, you have to kickstart the generators.
4 of them, right?
Yeah, that's right. 1 in each tunnel.
Let's get to work.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, I need to, before I do that puzzle, I'll need to figure out which goes to where. So... Hopefully this isn't causing like a... Alright, special area. Is this going to be a run or is this going to be a kill the timer within the time limit? Gotcha. Hi there, Lycan. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're doing all right. Just went through a secret door just then. We're up to the 18th mission of the DMC reboot. I've only started getting frustrated with the combat with the what's-a-mahoozy, the Dream Walkers, because it's like I have to be mindful of them wanting to counter my counter most of my attacks, so I have to like sort of juke them into getting damaged by me so that they'll do a... Alright, spin you? Yep, alright, so that restarts it. Do I have to fight something? No. Okay, cool. Oh. Welcome, Raiders! My name is Grant. I'm a variety himbo streamer. Thank you so much for the raid, Callium. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Oh, let me just avoid falling into the pit. There we go. Thank you so much for the raid. Hoy hoy, how was Abiotic Factor? I saw, like, I have a friend named Jack the Crow who loves Abiotic Factor. They have been trying to get me to play it, and to me, it looks like an open world survivor crafter, and I am going to have, you know, I'm gonna have a moment of either, you know, just, it's either gonna click for me or it isn't, but historically speaking, they have not clicked for me. It's a closed world. Still, sounds... Okay, not generative. There's a different... Not open world, like, generating new shit, but, like, you know, just, Oh, there they are. Go. Yeah. Ah, chainsaw peeps. I remember they told me there was like a way to, you know, defeat them like easily in the counter stage, but I forgot. Fuck you. Yes!
That's one generator.
All the same elements, but the world is set, and your world is more like a Metroidvania. Okay, so it's more in line to something...
Power conduits with the corresponding server.
It has more to do with the, blah, 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 blah. It has more to do with, like, you know, say the Force or something. Anyway, your Mega EP, so have fun. Not to worry, Callium. Thank you so much for raiding in. I'll try and keep your viewers entertained by me trying to solve this puzzle.
Done.
Need for all four, set.
Alrighty, so I just need to have you trail around. There we go. And then... Oh, wait, I did it the wrong way. Hang on a sec. So... There we go. So now if I do it like this, so now that and this are set in the right place. And then I'm gonna move you out of... So you two are gonna be set in the right place. So then this one just needs to be rotated like this. Start. Yeah, okay, cool. So now I just need to go and do the puzzle. Where are you going? Me. Either going to get ice cream or committed fed, and I'll decide on the way Hi there, Wild Saber. Did you decide on whether it was going to be ice cream or a felon? I'm assuming because you're here that it was something on the tamer side like ice cream. Alright, get that started up again. And now I got, you know, the what's this to deal with. So... Yeah! That was an awesome combo. That worked out. That combo, clean. Loved it. Alright, so that's 2 of the pillars done. I have a 3rd and a 4th to go. So, hopefully these aren't going to be too bad. Am I going to have to fight someone in here at the center again? Yes, I am. There we go. Oh, god damn you. There we go.
That's 2 online, Virgil.
Good. Rebooting.
Shall I line
Alrighty.
it up?
You can. Or you can get the other generators online. Up to you.
It's already lined up. Like, look, see? So, like, the only things I need to do is just, you know... Unless... Is this enough? Like, do I just need to do... Coming over here? No. Okay, so you do want me to just go and do all the generators. Because I'm pretty sure... Never mind. Does Jesus not... Wait, hang on. Not trust humanity. He is afraid he will be double-crossed. Oof. Jesus died for our sins. Granted, he was dead for a weekend, but you know, you gotta respect a man for giving up his weekend for all of humanity at the time. Alright. Dink. That way we're over on this side. Alright, so let's get this generator running and then we'll have to... So we'll fight something here, deal with the 4th, fight again. Hey! Sir Dragon! I'm gonna need that shirt. Yes!
One more.
Just one more to go. No doubt I'm gonna have to deal with something over in the main chamber once I get back. Annoying. Unless, can I get to the other thing at the other side? No, I cannot. Darn you. Ow, fuck you. God. Yes! Did it!
Another in the bag.
Any problems?
Weren't happy. What would you have done for a
No.
Klondike bar? This is a lot of religious jokes, Wild Saber. I don't know how I feel about these. Granted, we are playing Devil May Cry Reboot, where Ninja Theory decided to go very heavy into the like the Christian religion and what have you. But that was more from the case of, you know, Ninja Theory can only play to the strengths that of the religions they understood. Like I don't know how well they were versed in other religions like they were when they did Devil May Cry 3 and what have you. Because yeah, Devil May Cry 3 Devil May Cry 4 even did some pretty good pulls to other mythoses that weren't explicitly everyone? Yep, that is everyone, so now I can run back to the... Oh. Gotcha!
Okay, we're in business.
So that should be all of the generators now. If this is another, like, short mission, I'm fine with the short missions. So... hopefully I get a good time from this one. Because at least I bothered doing the puzzle ahead of time, so... Yee! Thank you, Sir Dragon. Yes! Ah, two of these guys. Not great. Fuck it. Damn it, I was hoping to... I still have not figured out the timing. Also, it probably would help if I had, like, a greater distance to... There we go. Oh. Moses said every animal in it. Gotta ask, did they have to drop? Wild Saber, are you good with all the religious references and jokes? I have no idea. I am also running moderatorless for this
I
stream.
closed the Hellgate with the Yamato.
I feel very
Then we go for the
exposed.
kill.
Any ideas how I draw him out?
We killed his unborn child. Get him rabid.
Got it.
But do not try and kill him. He is immortal until I shut down the Hellgate.
Right.
This is it, Dante. We have to put our lives into each other's hands completely, without hesitation.
You're gonna betray me. I know it.
We are brothers, after all.
Because this man Dante do not know Virgil very well. Dink. It's not the worst rank, but we did better than we expected, so I'm fine with that one. Alright, so we don't have to worry about any keys, doors, or souls in this one, which means it's a boss battle. Let's go. Alright, so that's the Hellgate.
Why did you kill my child?
I don't suppose we can go with a defense of
I
it
will
wasn't
ask
our
you
faults.
Why did you kill my child?
Because you killed my mother.
That's a good... Alright, that's fine.
So it was revenge. I see.
It was more than that.
Oh,
It was for freedom.
freedom. Well, you seem to have all the freedom you need. The freedom to murder my heir.
I'm not talking about my freedom. I'm talking about mankind's.
Mankind. And what would mankind do with freedom, do you suppose? Because when I arrived, they had it. And what do you think they did with it? They fought. They killed. They starved. I brought prosperity. I brought structure. And what have you brought? Besides violence, war, death.
Revolution.
Come on, Dante. Get him pissed.
You know, Abundus, you're right. It wasn't for mankind, it was for revenge. I gotta tell you, killing your child like that, watching it explode into little wet chunks, hearing you scream like one of you little demon bitches, priceless.
Alright, well now he's mad. Oh. Okay. I thought Virgil was a lot closer to his office than just all the way at the end of the hall, but probably makes sense. Ooh, I didn't realize he could do that. Trying to corrupt me. Around October, a game I'm really excited for is getting released. Mina Hollow Earth. Huh. Is that it like a full... Is that a full-blown, like, AAA game? Or is this one of those, indie ones? I think it's indie because of the fact that it is, you know, as you mentioned, Van Helsing mixed with furry. So, indie. Okay, okay. Hellgate's close at this point. No, never mind. The Hellgate is... Is it open? I didn't think the Hellgate was open at this point. I thought the Hellgate was open after Mundus did something.
Leave my brother alone.
Yeah. Just throwing a demon off the...
You okay, Dante?
Good shot.
You took your time.
You're welcome.
But I guess we have a new problem where... I thought we were trying to close a Hellgate, whereas this looks like more like we've swung it wide open. The song for Mundus is like real popular. We're having this in the backlog. And there he is. The Kickstarter member's got a cute Kashi of Mina and her demon hunting book as a little pillow. Nice.
You ready for this?
We can kill him now?
Hellgate is shut.
Never! Any ideas?
You see that eye of his?
Yes.
His demon child had something like that. We start there.
We'll have to get it open.
You're an asshole!
Keep him busy. I'll try and get the eye exposed.
Great comeback there, Dante, just calling him an
Just stay
asshole.
alive until I expose his eye.
Alright, I guess we'll just get the dodge as best we can. Flicking Yamato
Dante!
blades.
Do something!
Oh, nice! Now we've activated Demon Trigger. Or Devil Trigger, sorry.
Now, Dante! Get to the eye!
Nice. Alright, are we pulling it out? Yes, we are. Or we pulled the cover. Okay, now is this... I can't remember this boss when I played it long ago. I'm trying to remember if it's a platforming boss or if it's an actual, like, you know, we're gonna fight this in an arena boss.
Good save. Look! He's showing cracks. Dante, you see that?
Yeah, I
Yep.
see it.
There's Mundus
Still
in the
in
center there.
We need to get in there and kill him.
So.
Come on, let's go.
Oh yeah, there's no doors or anything like that I need to worry about. So we're fine to just, you know, run through.
Why was his body in there?
Mundus is merged with his physical body. That's why he's protecting it.
So if we kill his body,
We kill Mundus.
Easy enough logic to follow. Alright, so we will need to be swapping for Mundus. Alright, fighting demons or fighting Mundus? Yep, we're still traversing to get to Mundus. That's fine by me.
no.
Virgil! No!
That's not good. Now we need to protect. let's get him out of there.
What have you done to him?
Let's try and avoid that. Hi there, Izzy! I forgot to come in earlier. My brain are melting out of my skull, so the head's just swimming. Understandable. I am merely just, I am merely going through this as best as I can. It's Monday as well. It's fine if everyone is... It's fine if everyone is, like, you know, just a little bit addled in the brain. Is there a way for me to... Yeah, there is. Okay. Oh, here we go. Darn it. Ah, so close. Alright, so that's the first fist done. A Garfield Monday? Yeah, that might be the right way to describe Mondays. It's just... Alright. Tug his eye out. Ah, yeah, there's Mundus there in his body, fighting Virgil. Virgil's getting a fucking beatdown. Swap over here. Oh, so close. Alright, hang on. And go. Yes. Alright, so that's that one out of the way, which means his other eye is now free for us to rip that one out. Come on. But yeah, hopefully you're gonna have an okay evening, Izzy, and that, you know, the brain isn't going to melt fully out of your skull and, you know, recongeal and all that, so... Oh, made it. Alright, now we face off against Mundus.
Thank you, Resident Fed Boy, for the tier 1 gift sub to his eyes.
Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Fat Cat. I greatly appreciate it. Izzy will no longer have to worry about advertisements, and they get to utilize all of the cool emotes that I have. I've got all... Oh wait, no, those are the follower emotes. Here are the sub emotes. Oh. Yeah! Got a good cut on Mundus. I thought we would slice him in half, but just a good gash is still pretty good. Especially when there's an explosion. But yeah, thank you so much, Resident Fed Boy. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Didn't know you were in here, just lurking about. Ready to gift Izzy a sub. Thank you so much. Oh, it's their first gifting a sub in the thing. Thank you. You haven't even said anything. Oh my goodness. All right, I won't put focus on you. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, Izzy, hopefully like, with a little bit of rest, you'll get better and what have you. I know peeps, you know, Mondays, it does things to them. I was very fortunate where I didn't have to work this Monday, which was nice, so I had something of a 4-day weekend, which was lovely because of taking Friday off for mental health. We did it, Patrick! We saved the city! And the city is just in fucking shambles. Oh boy. Earlier examples of Twitter. Nobby Styles, Frandle. You wonder if even some of these accounts like still exist in some way or another. I don't know why, but like I thought it. Like, I saw we have awoken, but my brain was like, we have woke. I thought I missed the A and the N, so I thought it was like, you know, some crazy thing. We've gone woke. I don't know what my brain was thinking at that time. Oh, hell yeah, we got like 4 thingy-madiggies. Alright, shop. Give me a second. Items. Let's go for... So we can't go for the health cross. We'll go for a devil trigger at the very least. We'll go for you and you, just in case. And we've got upgrades we can do. So, phases back and forth 3 times. After successful angel lift, kicker, leap. And then we've got, you know, rebellion. And then arbiter. Then that's tremor. Longer fault line. The Osiris, honestly, is really good. What's streak? Yeah, we'll go with streak. Although Aquila might have been... Oh, no, we've already done a lot of upgrades to Aquila, so that's fine. Alright, this, I believe, is the final mission in the Devil May Cry, like, Dante's questline. So, let's see how this goes.
Limbo has collapsed into the real world. What was once hidden is now laid bare for all to see. Revolution is in the air.
I never believed I'd live to see this.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
It's the beginning of the end for the demons.
I'm Squidward. I can't
Yes.
I can't stand the idea of being awake at 3 a.m. I've come to learn.
Path is clear for us to rule.
Just head turning at the same time.
For us to rule.
Us.
To rule what?
This. Everything.
Who is we,
I
Virgil?
mean, like Mundus.
No. No. We'll be nothing like Mundus. We'll respect our subjects, not enslave them.
Subjects.
He means you. He means humans.
I thought we were fighting for freedom.
It was his freedom we were fighting for, not yours.
Don't be so simplistic. Humans are frail. They're like children. They need protection. Not just from others, but from themselves. We, you and I, have saved them.
You and I saved them?
Who else?
A human.
Cat was useful, but
Useful.
Cat saved my life. Cat held out under torture to keep your existence a secret. Cat led us through the tower to Mundus's lair. We would have failed 20 times over if it weren't for her.
listen. If you can't see the chaos that humans will cause, if you don't want the responsibility of protecting them, then stand aside. I'll rule alone.
I didn't help you destroy Mundus so that you could take his place. I can't let you do this, Virgil.
And I can't let you stop me, brother. Stand
aside.
I think, yeah. Ninja Theory, I definitely believe if Capcom wasn't, you know, wishy-washy on whether or not they wanted to do a sequel in the Ninja Theory universe, I think they were definitely, like, setting themselves up to have a, to make, like, a quote-unquote sequel. Because it's like, oh yeah, Virgil is seen as the enemy in Devil May Cry 3, and, you know, we'll probably, like, we had hints of him in Devil May Cry 1, not apparently. I didn't know about Devil May Cry 1 Virgil, but apparently he's there. Alrighty. He is probably going to be like the Dreamwalkers. It's going to be very annoying trying to deal with him with our weapon. If I had a little more distance.
Hello.
Hello, Jason. Good to have you here. I wonder if... Surviving this. Your hello alert isn't working by the by? I swear I heard a hello earlier.
Don't be.
Although I will be real with you, like... Oh, there was a storm there. Oh my gosh, we haven't even gotten halfway yet. Are we just getting, like, multiple...
It's not too late.
Ugh. Okay, we're probably at the halfway point now.
Yes, it is.
Oh, God. Jesus. Oh, are we activating... No. Oh, now he activates demon mode. Or, not demon mode, but devil trigger. Oh, and then there's gonna be fucking 2 of him. Of course there is. I see. So now, fuck you. Now I'm gonna activate the yellow orb, considering he's so close to dead here. Yes! So his doppelganger, if I hit him enough times, we would have gotten into, like, Devil Trigger again. I like the better between Dante seeing through a human perspective because the way he grew up assessed, as opposed to his brother's demon view. Oh yeah, because, like, his brother was, like, his brother Virgil was raised by, Sparta, as opposed to, as opposed to when it was just the 2 of them together.
Dante, don't kill him. Please. I am begging you. Please stop.
So.
For me.
Yeah. So, also the fact that, like, after he was being in, like, you know, Devil Trigger mode for so long, his hair normally was, like, full white in the Devil Trigger mode, then at a point turned black, and now in the normal world, his hair is white. So. This could honestly, like, you know, if they decided to explore this in a sequel, which they never will because of, like, you know, how this was critically panned and such.
Under my protection now.
I could understand.
You've chosen the wrong side.
I could understand if they did a sequel where it's like, okay, now Virgil is the villain and such, and it's like we get a more introduction because Sparta is still alive in this universe of Devil May Cry. He's, like, stuck in the lowest reaches of hell, getting tortured forever and shit. Eve was like an angel. She's dead. So I could imagine where it's like, oh, while Dante didn't have Eve raising him or any of that kind of nonsense, and he was, like, going from, like, a sane asylum to foster home and yada yada, Virgil could have been with Sparta for a lot longer and learned that, oh, Sparta was the one that was like, oh, you know, after the events of what Mundus did to Eve, wanting vengeance and such.
I know exactly.
I feel like there would have then been a very dangerous precedent where they might have tried to go into, like, you know, having us confront Sparta at some point in this universe, which I don't think would have been a really good move. Because we've not seen Sparta in the first 4 Devil May Cries, and I think it's in the, like, quote-unquote, like, you know, design philosophy of DMC where you're not supposed to ever see Sparta, because it was like long ago he was a very powerful demon who fought on the side of humanity, gave up his like, you know, Knight of Hell moniker to be with a human. Both the human and him died like years after, you know, the birth of Dante and Virgil. So. Oh my goodness, I recognize some of those monitors as like a regular Dell monitor that you'd have back in the day. They had some interesting designs. Hi there, Jack! What time to come in, I guess. Yeah! So, also, there is still the Virgil, like, playthrough. Oh my god, I got D rank on everything because of... Yeah. You have completed Devil May Cry. There's now a new mode, Son of Sparta. We're not gonna do Son of Sparta. We have a costume for the white-haired, and we have a mode called Must Style. Enemies only take damage at S rank and above. Can be toggled on at any difficulty via the start menu. Didn't realize that was a mode. Are you gonna do Virgil's side? Honestly, probably. Just give me a second. There's something I wanted to double check on my side. Because hang on. Ding. There we go. So there was a design they had for Dante. There we go. So this was like one of the earlier designs for Dante that Ninja Theory did, that Capcom apparently was like, no, we don't like that. You need to, because like this is like a lot closer in design to the Dante we were getting earlier. You do Virgil's side in this game and not in the other previous games. I've got, like, here's the thing, is that, like, those games pace differently and what have you. You are bad and should feel bad. We only accept S rank on Twitch. Nah, don't care. Like, also, Jacket's cool. Jacket's a lot cooler. And then, yeah, then they did changes. That is a terrible design! That's interesting that they had, like, different kind of look for his, like, Devil Trigger or what have you. And then, let's have a look. Is there another... And then they have got Cat here. This looks a lot cooler. And then she had, like, something with a violin. That would have been cool. And then that's Eva. They have one thing for Eva. Alright, so that's Sparta getting tortured. That's their home, paradise, I guess. Whatever is going on here. Eve with Dante, Dante in a riot, Dante and Virgil fighting. Dante at a very young age killing demons. Cool stuff. And then backstory stuff, which is kind of okay. That is some cool art. I do love the look of this. So... Besides, also, Jack, it's only been an hour and a half. And as far as I know, the missions on the, like, how many missions are there on Virgil's side? Give me a second, let me double check. How many missions are there in Virgil's Downfall? Missions. Does it tell me? Yeah, there's only 6 missions. I went from like 17 to like the end really quickly, so this shouldn't take forever to do. You wanna... Would you like to see as you play? Yes. Only for Virgil, though. So, basically picking up precise... Oh, and I just realized I've left the thingamajiggy. There we go. Here's the thing as well, Jack.
What happened to us, Father?
I did not bother with Virgil on DMC3 because it was basically just DMC3 with Virgil. Virgil as the What's-a-Makuzi.
There's nothing left for me here.
Oh Jesus. And he's going down to hell. I played the second campaign of DMC 2. So, like, it's hit or miss, okay? There are some games where it's like, if the quote-unquote second campaign does have, like, something of a difference, or, you know, I can go through the base game fast enough, then I will bother doing, you know, the next campaign. This one is 6 missions. That is a lot less than 20, let me tell you. Besides, I imagine not a lot of people, myself included, have played through Virgil's Downfall. Oh, he doesn't have a double jump. Okay, that's annoying. I thought he would. Never mind. Okay, but he does have his wing thingamadiggy, thank goodness. Alright, let's see. Alright, so he doesn't have his...
My amulet. It's gone.
I didn't think his amulet was important, but sure. Besides, what would I do for the next, like, you know, 2.5 hours, Jack? Shoot with summoned sword. Okay. Oh, interesting. This is bait.
Giving up, Virgil? No!
Yes, children fighting will just bring back, like, trauma like that, won't it?
Poor Virgil. Are you lost?
Anyway, how is your evening going, Jack? Feeling good? Oh, interesting. Nice. Okay, so it does like more dimensional hopping shit than. All right, and it's just normal destructible environments. It looks like, which is going to be great. I am definitely going to miss some destructible environments here and there as I go through here, but let's not focus on that too hard. Also, there's Cap. Let me just send a quick message to Cap. That is an interesting risk. There we go. Hello, YY, welcome to the stream. We got done with the base game of DMC. Like, it took like an hour and a half to go through the last remaining mission, so we're just really quickly seeing how we go in Virgil's Downfall, the DLC for after completing Devil May Cry. So, we'll see how long, like, a mission is. So, he's got jump, he's got enemy step. Yamato, meanwhile, so Slasher is just 3, Crosscut is 2. Judgment Cut is... Yep, the Vortex. Honestly, let's grab that and see how it is. Sword Illusions. With greater frequency. Ah, okay. Yes. I don't know about Classic Adventures, because this is a reboot from 2013, but...
You're dead.
Yeah.
What?
You're trapped here, just like me. But you can escape. You still have a chance. The light. Find the light and get out of here.
Interesting.
The light? Okay.
Also, it's interesting to see, like, in the top left, like, the icon for Virgil is basically, like, a very disheveled gentleman. There we go. Oh, yeah, environment. Yonk, yonk. So yeah, so this used to be Paradise, but now it's like, you know, in limbo / hell. Oh, hello. There we go. Might as well grab it while we can. Then we're back up here. He doesn't have a lot of movement just yet. Although it is kind of crazy to see him just dashing around like, you know, instant teleportation style. That's kind of crazy to see. Uh-oh. Get moving. All right, this way. No, not that way. God damn it. I pressed triangle instead of square. We're gated from Paradise. Great. That was a good save. Supposed to be in a situation where I would have to die before paradise, but thankfully not.
Wait! You're in danger.
Hey, Virgil. You're not going anywhere. How does it feel, brother? To be beaten again?
I imagine Virgil is an unreliable narrator during these moments here. Also, there's no, like, clicky noise. Why is there no... Okay, there we go. I was wondering, like, why I couldn't hear shit. But that might have been a momentary lapse. But yeah, like, this looks easy, quick enough to get through. Like, 15 minutes a mission.
Look at you.
Like...
Who are you?
You failed. Your father gave you everything. And now you have nothing. Everyone you care about, everyone you love, has turned their back on you. How does it feel? My heart. You can't change the past. But what would you do if you had another chance?
Hey there, Jack the Barra. Welcome to the stream.
You're still alive. Cat was useful.
Useful.
Cat saved my life.
Virgil, please.
Oh. Does he regret Cat? That'd be crazy if he did. Thank you so much for following me yesterday. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't, like, stream late night Saturday, but, like, you know, my brain wasn't there for doing late streams.
No, Virgil, stay back! Virgil! Help me, please!
So yeah. No, I'm coming! So yeah, he's an unreliable narrator at this point, considering, like, you know, he was stuck in hell, got stabbed by Dante. Angel mode, Yamato for quick strikes against multiple enemies. Cool. Don't wholly understand how to do Dante's, like, angel mode, but it's nice that I have, like, a lot more at least got savaged. I kept seeing you in my live feed, so you followed. Well, thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yeah, I've not done too much in, like, you know, advertising myself on, like, other platforms or anything like that. And I probably need to find the time to do so at one point. Oh, Jesus, that was dumb of me. Like, yeah, I was talking about this, like, earlier on at the start of my stream, but, like, you know, I've been spinning, like, a lot of plates in terms of, like, you know, trying to lose weight, trying to keep up with, like, full-time job, finance ends balancing, looking for a new place when my lease ends next year. Like, just like, I got, like, a lot of stuff on my plate. There we go. There we go. But yeah, I've been, like, just spinning a lot of plates in real life, and, you know, I have, like, the concern of move towards the portal and press L. Ah, okay, so I need to, like, do a thing. But yeah, I've been, like, spinning a lot of plates in regards to, like, IRL between work, finance, diet, and this. So there's, like, a bit of a concern of burnout coming up. All right, let's have a look at... Actually, let me have a look at Yamato. So we got crosscut, we've got this. Helmbreaker. Cool. Meanwhile, in Angel mode, we got rapid slashing. And then we got flare, which does like a spin. And then that's the orbital nonsense. I'm gonna get more summoned swords, because I'm definitely using those quite a bit. But yeah, so I have, like, this concern of, like, burnout or what have you, because, like, from what most people, you know, converse about burnout is that there will come a point of, you know, just falling out of love of the things you need to do, that you want to do, so you end up just doing, you know, whatever is, you know, keeping you afloat of, like, you know, financially and well-being, which at this point would just be the full-time job and not streaming at all. It's okay for you not to be able to stream. You have to take care of yourself, and things have higher priorities. Yeah, no, I 100% subscribe to that. Yay, Virtuous Health. 100%. Swords are going to be very Darn it. So yeah, I constantly subscribe to, you know, in regards to anything that happens in, like, on the internet or with, like, people online and what have you, real life takes priority, honestly. Yes! Down smash them? Yeah. I try to. There we go. More orbs, thank you.
Virgil! Where are you?
So, I'm fairly certain, like, this memory we're getting right, like, this is sort of, like, it's a bit of a weird, like, hell limbo, forcing us to revisit, like, past memories and such, I think. So this must have been, like, you know, something in Virgil's past and we're confronting it again or something like that, instead of, like, the normal method. Looks great. You never encountered a zebra furry before? Thanks. We're, like, despite zebras being, like, a very, like, you know, together bunch and what have you in the animal kingdom and such, I have not seen that many, zebra personas myself either, and I fell off a cliff. Oh, but I need one of these. If I didn't fall off a cliff. Once again, I forgot he doesn't have a double jump, so... And having said that, I forgot again. There we go. So yeah, never mind the fact that I forgot. Again. And again. You're a capybara? Ah, that's why you have Jack the Bara. I'll be real with you. I attract a certain kind of audience with the persona that I have. Not intentionally when I first made it and what have you, but I get like Bara like individuals, like body type was, and Bara enthusiasts. Oh, nice. There we go. Why is there so many of these guys? tricks in my toolkit. There we go. You actually just took half of the animal name without knowing that Bara was a body type? Yeah. I kind of knew Bara was a body type when I first made this persona, but I thought that ladies would like the Bara body type. Turns out the ladies, you know, some of them do, but there's a lot of men that like the Bara type, and that was not my intention.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. But you're dead.
Yep.
Funny you had
We're
to
in some weird limbo, stuck in a loop of our memories
from
things.
Demons, remember? It gave you a home, a reason to live.
No, you used me and you betrayed me.
Everything you hate me for, it had to be done.
Really? You deceived us, Virgil. Me and your brother. Dante. Now that's a real man. You're weak. Almost pitiful. You'll never be half the man he is.
There we go. Do we get into a fight, or does she just die? Nope, she just fades away. Okay. Alrighty, so that's like the first part of his quote-unquote heart that's gone. Honestly, I'm amazed that I got a B rank in style for that one. Okay, so instead of getting like keys and secret doors, we just get shards themselves. That's fine. Third mission, here we go. While I'm here, please put tangerine on my head. I don't have a tangerine, unfortunately. I have a cookie, though. Alright, so there's a... Yeah.
I killed her.
And you were stronger now.
Yep, so as Virgil steals himself, his heart goes arc. His heart turns to ice from the looks of the visual.
Become the son of Sparta.
So. Alright, so now we're pursuant of Dante, is it?
Welcome to hell, brother.
I don't have a brother anymore.
Cute. You know, I was the one running away, living in the slums. You enjoyed a comfortable life. Look who's on top now.
Oh, you meant don't put tangerines on your head. Oh.
Guess that's why you're here.
Oh, that's okay, because I don't have tangerines. I have cookies, though. That's it.
I killed you. I'm liking the new look. Fuck yeah.
Alright.
Hey, up here.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna unlock quote-unquote demon mode shortly. Special there. Yeah, I figured. There we go. One. Demon mode for heavy damage. Awesome. on. You can do it. Damn it. Can you have a cookie? It is a redeem. Come on. There we go. You need to fix your charger. Did you say yes? I said it was a redeem. Cookie for Jack the Barra. Here's your cookie. There you go. That worked. So yeah, I have to be fair to everyone. I have, like, loads of people love cookies, and there's someone in my
Can't keep up with your big brother.
blah blah blah. There was someone who came to my streams like early on when I first started that was demanded cookies and what have you. Finally, I relented and gave him a cookie. Okay, and I made it a redeem. So they very much, you know, will always go for the cookie redeem and such. And if they heard that I was giving out cookies for free, oh, I don't know if I would ever hear the end of it from them. Go. Think.
Where are you, Dante?
So why do we have this train limbo sequence, I wonder? Shoot phantoms. Okay. Ding. Go. Nothing secret beyond there. That. Away. Oh yeah, there was a train sequence, I think. Or like we were in like some weird train station in order to get to Falcon News. This is Virgil's Devil Trigger gauge. It is used to activate special ability. Different abilities consume different amounts of Devil Trigger. Attacking replenishes the Devil Trigger gauge. Hold to activate spiral swords. You were actually eating cookies? No. I can't eat cookies myself personally because I am currently on a shake diet. I do I've done the shake diet like a number of times, but like this time around I've not been perfect with it. I really should be better with it, but This is like my 3rd time doing the shake diet. Oh, damn it. And yeah, this time around I have been like lacking in 1 or 2 areas. So this weekend, for instance, when it's been a long weekend for me, I did like break my diet and had like a HSP. So, but ideally I shouldn't be. I should be instead doing, you know, sticking to my breakfast being a meal shake, my lunch, and my dinner doing the same sort of thing as well, in order to help get my weight go down. Because I'm not a 7-foot tall zebra in real life. I am just a average. There we go. Oh, okay, so it's just for use. That's fine by me. Was there? No, there wasn't. Okay, cool. But no. Oh, I see. So these things are active for a limited time. Is he gonna kill Dante? I didn't think we'd get up to like a Phantom Dante till like much later on.
You're gonna pay for this!
There we go, grab you. Can't go through there. Do I have anything to spend? Golden Orb to revive, Holy Cross, Devil Trigger. Might as well grab those 3 things just so then that way I'm not in pain. Divorce and Volcano Charge. Killer Bee. Drive in bed. Virgil slashes down on any slamming to the ground with greater damage. In the air, following a drive attack. Following a drive attack, charges his sword and clashes down. Okay, that is a good one to have on. There we go. Severe out of the way. Oh, he definitely has that crazy look in his eyes, that's for sure. Solaris Lion, thank you so much for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. How is it going? Doing good? Oh, Jesus. I got done with the Devil May Cry, the reboot 2013 storyline earlier this evening. So now, because I had like, you know, several hours free before like the next hour shit. Go. There we go. Meowdy to you, Solaris. But yeah, since I had like so many, like I had like another 2.5 hours to go at the time I finished the DMC campaign, and I saw, and you know, Virgil's Downfall is only 6 missions instead of 20. So we're going through Virgil's Downfall tonight. So yeah, hopefully we'll get it done before it gets, you know, past 10 o'clock. How is your morning, afternoon, evening, night going on your side, Solaris? And there's our Phantom Dante.
Coward.
You're just vibing, you just had dinner, and now you're working on your model? Oh, you do, like, 2D or 3D models? There we go. Ah, damn it. More of them. Oh, damn it. Break your shield. Ah! Best you. And you think I'd learned my lesson. Live 2D. Ah, nice. Okay, cool, cool. I have like a PNG tuber. I don't have like one of those live 2D models like what Mutasaur and some of the like, you know, the more common popular VTubers that you see, like the ones from like HoloLive and V Shoujo and what have you. I don't have any of those kinds of live 2Ds. I just have
nowhere to
this and a PNG. Because if I can't have my PC running this model or what have you while I'm playing a video game, then I just have a PNG model for easy stuff. Okay, so we're going up to, like, the top of the Eve statue.
Let's do this!
There we go. Hey, nice! I guess this is the end of the mission. You want to do a 3D model at some point, but too expensive, so you're making a live 2D from scratch? Good luck with that. I'm not a very creative person. Like... Sure, besides creative writing here and there, but not, you know, 3D modeling or whatever, that kind of nonsense. So I was able to get this model thanks to Wolk AD. He's pretty impressive.
Please, don't. You don't need it anymore.
Killing Dante on the statue of Eve. B rank, D rank on the time, B rank on completion, that's okay. Alright, so we're halfway through, and it's only just hit 8 o'clock. I reckon we can get this done. I reckon we can get this done. Also, we can see that Virgil is looking more and more insane with the red eyes. Fixing our heart.
You took his amulet.
It's useless. It only responds to Dante.
He gave it to him. Remember? He was always her favorite. You know that. The way she admired his impulsiveness, how he followed his heart. You should find her. Show her what you've done. Finish what you've started.
Oh, cool. Now we're, you know, really going traumatizing by looking for Eve. She dead, last I checked. She should not be in, like, anywhere. Although, to be fair, Virgil was dying / dead, so... Also, she's an angel, for God's sake. Is she really this, like, vulnerable? Oh, boy, we got so much traveling to do. The head is done along with the body and such for the... Ow. Trying to do like Stinger, but I need to remember that Virgil doesn't have a Stinger ability. I didn't struggle doing the eyes since my character has his hair covering his eyes 24/7. Oh! You know that sounds kind of like okay. There's probably like a lot of lions out there in the furry circles and such, so you may not know this particular lion furry, but there is one that I'm familiar with named Kahlua, or Gucci Feline. He has something similar as well, where like his mane covers his eyes as well. He wears like a ball cap. He's really drippy. You should go check out Gucci Feline is his name. All one word. Good stuff.
Don't worry, Mother. Your nightmares will soon be over.
Virgil sounds weird as fuck when he said that. Sounded like such an insult. Don't worry, Mother. Your nightmare will soon end. It's like, no, weird as fuck, Virgil. Alrighty. Arena. Yep. Oh, damn it, that wasn't meant to happen. New to the fandom, so you're happy that you received far art? Oh, have you received fan art so far? Sorry, I need to read this. I don't... just gonna... that's just putting a grid on the model, right? Yeah, hope your model turns out great. I have Artist Solaris. I'm pretty new to the fandom, but I'm happy I've received far art. Also new to the fandom. Yeah, I'm Capybara. Nice! Jack Solaris. Solaris Jack. Hopefully you two have a wonderful time. So far, someone made fan art of Solaris and my other character, Luna. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're having a good time in the fandom so far. Alright, so that's by holding square. Virgil summons a series of swords that instantly launch out in succession at his enemies. This consumes one devil orb. Din, and then jump square. Summons a series that spiral around. The fire at the end and launch them upwards. Consumes one devil orb. Sword illusions I'm not really interested in. So Yeah, let's do that. And let's upgrade our slasher because, yeah, we're using it a lot. What did you... There we go. That way we burn. And down. There we go. Hi there. Welcome back, Goldie. Hopefully you're doing alright. So, I've had fan art made of my zebra in the past. Like, if you ever wondering, like, oh, where is this fan art? It's, if you ever get to the stream early enough, I have a little board. This is all this is art that people have made for me, like, over 4 years. And I love every single one of them. They go up on this little board here, and I just slap them on and what have you. There have been some, as you can see, where they're kind of getting, like, you know, cropped or pushed in by other pieces of art or getting, you know, drawn over. But that's only, like, a recent thing to happen. I just love, I love all these pieces of art. I'm like a parent when you're given a, when, you know, a kid from school, or comes back from school, and it's like, we drew this in art class. And I'm like, oh, that is so amazing. And I put it on the fridge. That's how I like to think it. You know that, Yoshi?
Almost
oh,
there.
You know Code the Yoshi? Nice. I probably should have... I love their stuff. It's interesting that these harpies, like, don't have the same sort of resilience to ranged attacks like they were with Dante and what have you. Yes! These are swag. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I have like a Fur Affinity accounts as well, where I've posted all my all the fan art I've received as well. Just be very mindful that I've been a furry for like close to a decade, probably more than a decade at this point. Yeah, actually no, probably close to a decade now. And I didn't start as a furry playing video games online with a VTuber or anything like that. So be mindful, there's a lot of not safe for work art on Fur Affinity, hence why it's not like, you know, properly linked or what have you. But if you're ever wondering where I am on Blue Sky, Twitter, Fur Affinity, and all that kind of nonsense, GrantZeebs. I am one of those lucky furries where I've typed in the name once, and not very many people want to go by GrantZeebs, so... Oh, god damn! Okay, fine. So I need to be mindful of... Dink. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay, I've got a technique. obsessing over Devil May Cry, so you're doing a cover of a Hatsune Miku song that was inspired by it? Oh, nice! So, my experience with Devil May Cry... Hang on. Give me a second, I'm trying to get... My experience with Devil May Cry, before streaming, my experiences of Devil May Cry was the DMC reboot, so this game here without the DLC and what have you, years and years ago, like a decade back. And, okay, I'm gonna just, hang on, maybe I just need to... There we go, never mind, got him. So my experience with Devil May Cry before streaming was just this game here, like 10 years ago. I kind of enjoyed it, and then I understood like a lot of people didn't for, you know, one reason or another. And so about a month ago, I will say, I started on Mondays going through... Actually, I just realized there's an advertisement going on. I'll wait till advertisement's back. Because, yeah, I don't know how many of you are on, like, you know, Twitch Turbo and all that kind of nonsense, so... Yeah. I'll wait till that's over. So, 45 seconds to go. 38 seconds. I should really have, like, a better, like, Twitch timer indicator or something like that. Thing. Upgrades. Demon mode. Divorce does some pretty good damage. So we did Stomp, which is after the drive attack. This move is also more powerful from greater heights. Embed slashes, slamming him down into the ground with greater damage. And then that's after a drive, so let's go with that. Are we back from advertisement? In a few seconds. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone. So yeah, so as I was explaining to you, to Solaris, my experiences with Devil May Cry wasn't, like, before streaming, it was just this game, minus the DLC and what have you. And that was, like, 10 years ago. So, fast forward to when I started doing streaming and such, and I'm still trying to get, like, a vibe of, okay, what kind of games do I want to stream and what have you? Because, like, obviously, playing super popular games is probably not the, There we go. Nice. So for the last like month or so, I have been going through like the Devil May Cry series. Normally Capricious is in the chat with me, going through like, you know, seeing how I'm going in the game and what have you, but they don't seem to be here this time. There we go. So yeah, so I went through Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4 so far, and I decided before I go into Devil May Cry 5, I would actually go through Devil May Cry, the 2013 reboot that came out after Devil May Cry 4, to see whether or not this game still held up in my mind, and to see, like, where it ranks in like my metaphor, in like my, well, not metaphorical, but in my weird, thoughts on the Devil May Cry games and what have you. Because I'll be real with you, Devil May Cry 1 and 2, they are prisoner. Okay, so that's also, how do you like?
Leave her alone.
I thought the sword thing in particular would go away at one point, but it hasn't yet. Okay, I need to avoid the okay, I'm really I do not have a vital star, which is a problem. Damn it. Fuck it. Use a gold orb. There we go. You don't belong here. I only found out about this game because of the anime. I have yet to watch the Devil May Cry anime. I was like, oh, should I probably have played the Devil May Cry series before watching the anime? And that's how, because of that release of that anime, I am now here playing DMC and what have you.
Virgil? What's
I'm just gonna swap to standing mode for a quick minute,
dead.
sorry.
How?
It was me.
What?
I killed him.
You're not gonna get brownie points with your mom with this.
You killed him? How could you? He was your brother.
He was your favorite. I could never be like him. Always waiting in his shadow, always second best. Well, not anymore.
You knew of this game because of the bad voice lines Into the Light? Into the Light? What is Into the Light?
To break my heart. Why? Look at me, Virgil.
I'm here to say goodbye.
What have you become? We gave you power, and you used it to kill. After everything we taught you.
Everything you taught me was wrong. All you gave me was power, nothing else.
I brought you into this world. Gave you love. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Where's your heart?
Yeah.
I no longer have one, Mother.
No.
Like, I understand, like, this game, I'll be real with you, like, is a very, like, mid-story.
Don't leave me!
He had a voice crack as he said light. Ah, okay. I must have missed that moment. I've just been having a bop playing through this game, I'll be real with you. Own Shadow. Okay, so it's 8:30 right now. Sword Illusion. So I've already summoned most of the swords. This one makes 5. Consumes 3 devil orbs. Demon mode. Probably will need to improve demon mode at one point. Allows to pass through with the sword trailing behind him. Okay, so that does more damage. More damaging. A charge attack that launches into the air. Juggling enemies in the air before striking them in the ground, doing more damage. Meanwhile, normal Yamato. A more damaging succession of 2 slashes and a powerful final strike, leaving a sword embedded in the enemy. Honestly, that's probably what we have. And then items, meanwhile. Get the gold orb again. Get a large vital star before shit hits the fan. Alright. Sorry. I need to go to the bathroom. I am so sorry. Yeah, I am so sorry. I need to go to the bathroom. You're gonna have to make do with me doing a silly little dance and doing an ERB. I'll be back in 30 seconds, okay? Give me a second. Bathroom break. Bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was attacking them. I was being good.
the other one. Ooh. Oh, I can't fucking see.
Healing. Flashbang.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the brightness. What was that?
You'll have to speak up. I'm blind.
Yes.
Like, you know, someone's gonna like, you know, someone does like, Chad, give me 500 bits. Oh my god, thank you for 500 biddies. And then like, look, fucking massive boobies. No! No, 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 no! Uh-oh. Alright. Shame it didn't, like, change the thingy-ma-diggy when it was, like, ding-dong. The ghost of you is still there. Yep. We'll probably still figure it out until the PC does a full-on restart. You spin me right round, baby, right round. Alrighty, I have returned. I am back. We can turn off this. What do you think of this little dance? Do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Woo! Get down tonight. I have like so many different kinds of welcome back. Yay, thank you. Alright, back down to here. Alrighty. We're doing fairly good. We only have like 2 more missions to go. We've got Own Shadow and whatever the next mission is. I feel like this is gonna be a boss fight, so this is gonna be a bit difficult to do. Or is this 5 missions in this campaign?
You've done it.
But yeah, I got all kinds of deals.
Zeebs is a cutie.
Hi there, Blue. Welcome to the stream. Hi, hi. We've got done with DMC, like the main campaign. I had like 2.5 hours left because I got done with it back at like 7:30 or something. So now I'm going through Virgil's downfall because, you know, this I can probably... Jesus. Hollow Virgil, other than the all-white appearance, this looks so much cooler. Ow. Still at work? You're still at work at 8:30? Oh goodness, Blue. I'll try not to disrupt your work too much then, as we go through facing off against Hollow Virgil, or like what I can only imagine is like Mecha Virgil or something. Oh, I have to like dodge this. Okay. Hang on. Oh, okay. There we go. Oh, come on. So, I wonder where I can show the lion guy. Oh. Good question. Oh, goddamn you. I need to do this thing again. Hang on. And for whatever reason, I am not dodging this very well. Okay, I'm doing it too soon. Also, am I supposed to, like, just survive this route? Come on. Araxiel! I'm gonna need this shirt. I'm being, you know, knives are being thrown at me. Hi there, Velk. It won't have the heart to kill you. Maybe. I need a... Oh, that reminds me. At some point, I need to, like, do way more, Ow. Fuck. Oh, I can... Yeah! Sorry, I was just so focused on work. But yeah, wonder where I can share the light. But yeah, okay, so, Solaris. I used to have a Discord that was, like, publicly available and what have you. But unfortunately... Well, it's not unfortunate, but the fact is I'm not a hugely extroverted person.
Thank you.
I'm not a hugely extroverted person, so I used to have a Discord that was like open to everyone and what have you, but
You deceived us, Virgil.
so many I was spinning so many plates and what have you, I was barely able to keep manage, and yeah, so one of the decisions I made was to shut the Discord that I have, so it's no longer a community server, and at some point it's probably either gonna like have everyone go away. What the fuck just happened? You just became a nuclear bomb. What the fuck, Virgil? Cool, we finished that. Oh my god, I even got a style rank of triple S, a time of triple S. Oh, fuck off. I got triple S for that? Incredible. Oh, cool, there's one more mission I need to do. Crazy. Hang on, sword illusion. Storm sword. So that's that thing. Items, meanwhile. I can't pick up those things, so I'm just gonna pick up another gold orb. But anyway, so... Yeah, so I've been closing down the well, my mental health needs to see you without a shirt. Ah, okay. Clever you, Araxiel. Thank you so much for, Thank you so much for coming in. I do appreciate it. Also, hi there, Velk. But yeah, so... I no longer have, like, a publicly available Discord. At some point, I'm gonna have, like, a lot of people probably kicked out of it at some point or something or rather. I know this is probably sad news and not something you want to hear about when you were wondering where you wanted to show off your line person, but, like, honestly, I'll probably see it somehow, somewhere, because, you know, if you stick around and what have you, and, you know, just... as you're continuing getting art, it looks like you're going to try and do some live 2D stuff, so I imagine at some point you're going to be streaming as well. So, yeah, Solaris, if you do start streaming or anything like that, do let me know, okay? Alright, let's get this mission started. Hopefully we don't die. So, yeah, always nice being here. Well, that's awesome to hear. Alrighty. I'm done standing up for this extended period of time. I am going to sit back down.
This time, it'll be different.
All right. Okay, so now we're back to the beginning. But we have our amulet here to spawn a doppelganger. Ah, this is what we were trying to do earlier. Okay, so it basically uses up all of my devil trigger to do that. Yeah, that was cool as fuck. And I got up to triple S with that. One weird thing I've encountered so far while being in the fandom. Oh, what's the weird thing you've encountered while being in the fandom? You're probably gonna learn more. Oh, god damn you. You're probably gonna learn more as the years go on. By the by, I will be real with you, everyone. Oh shit. All right, 1, 2. I love how he's like, this time it's gonna be different. You are right. It is absolutely different from last time. Everything is falling to pieces. Alright, here we go. Oh, shit! Of course you threw me off the edge like that. Ah! Oh, come on. Oh, God, you didn't have the thingamajiggy done, did you? There we go. Anarchy, let them do environmental kills by falling off to the edge of the earth. Oh, thank goodness I made that. And up we go. Anyway, so what was the thing? What was the weird thing? Are people randomly DMing me and being way too flirty? Like, I only mentioned going to the gym once, and I think that may be that cause. Oh, yeah, no. Okay. So, baseline, yes. Furries, some furries, because of, like, you know, online is, like, how they normally communicate and such, they interpret the direct messages not being a, hey, this is a private thing I want to, like, share with you and such. It's more of a case of, like, oh, I want to get your attention or what have you. There we go. Environmental kill. There we go. Also, why are you... But yeah, so there is... So that is a symptom of something that I have felt with the furry fandom Solaris. Like, they're very descriptive. Hang on. I want to get more bulky, but yeah, I don't mind. It was just a shock. Yeah, so, okay. Here is something that I've noticed within the furry fandom Solaris. This, I don't know if this is something that will, like, you know, turn you away or anything like that, but my personal opinions about the furry fandom is that it's big. The furry fandom is quite large, but the social contract of a furry fandom, you know, doing the needful of like, hey, if you've got friends or, you know, people within similar circles and you do a faux pas, socially speaking, they should be calling you out on that. Whether that is privately calling you out or just, you know, doing a minor, you know, hey, you know, maybe think about this a little bit more and don't do this again kind of thing. Like not holding it in or any of that kind of nonsense until finally you do so many things that they're like, okay, no, fuck it, and then kick you out. That's not really a good way of acting. I've noticed the furry fandom is kind of like that, where the social contract isn't there as strongly given the scale of the furry fandom. So there's some like social aspects, like if the furry fandom is your only fandom, I personally do not think that is a healthy like socialization for you. I feel like you need to have way more social circles to be involved in, either before or during your attendance with the furry fandom. Whether that is like, you know, you communicating with like, you know, your circles of friends at work and outside of it, or additional fandoms that aren't furry adjacent. Like, if furry is the only one, I feel like you're doing a disservice to yourself in terms of like training yourself for social situations and what have you, especially during like your social development years where you're like in high school or university. Alrighty. Doppelganger, here we go. Allow Virgil to force into a specific attack, allowing to attack. Full copy mode can be re-enabled if the current attack mode is selected again. Can adjust the delay between himself and the doppelganger between short and long delays. Interesting. And then Spiral Swords does that. Actually, you know what? Blistering Swords might be a good one. You've been in the My Little Pony and weird anime fandoms, you just never experienced it firsthand. Yeah, well... yeah. Different people's mileage will vary in fandoms and social situations, but yeah, in my experience with like interacting with the fandom and what have you, there's just been way too many experiences for myself personally where I was like, you know, if the user, if like the person on the other side is, you know, someone that is only in the furry fandom, there are some aspects where I'm like, it feels a bit off, or they're not really taking responsibility on like, you know, how to act with people. Not just during like good times, but it's like during moments of faux pas. So yeah, because if you have someone that's like, oh, this person has you like, you know, is saying these things about you and like they feel awkward about it and stuff like that, it's like, well, the fault is on the person that's making you feel awkward for how I act with them, not me. There we go. Cool. I just wasn't expecting it. No, fair enough. Yeah. It's just commenting on like something I've noticed in my experiences the longer I've been in the furry fandom, especially, you know, after, you know, how I have to communicate with people out, or like how its communications within the furry fandom have been versus outside of it. So, but yeah, mileage may vary when in fandoms. Alrighty. So I can make changes to Doppelganger. Go. But yeah, running low on health. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yes, I know people, that's why I was surprised at that, but I feel that are either just lonely and trying to find like-minded partners, borderline desperate sometimes. I don't see myself getting in a relationship anytime soon. I just want to vibe and be horny on main. Look, a lot of furries will be like that as well. I know a bunch of furries who are in relationships just they don't want to be lonely. As a gay furry guy, I understand it, but at some point it can't be your only motive to date. Yeah. There is... Oop, there we go. Almost missed that. There we go. And here. Oh, thank goodness. So, now we have health. Now we have a lot of health. So... the whole, like, that's the thing, is, like, the social fandoms and what have you, like, the way, you know, the social, like, experience should progress is that, you know, you learn your, skills and what have you through your parents and then schooling, and then you get to, like, high school, but the thing is that you then have to start, you have to start, like, you start going into fandoms of, like, similar, oh, you start like going into fandoms and what have you, so things of like, you know, personal interest to yourself, but during that time you are going into a fandom where you will find people that are not meant to be like, you know, exactly like-minded as yourself because of like, you know, high school or what have you. So from there, like some fandoms, you will learn how to tackle disagreements with other people because of, you know, simple things such as like, how do you handle someone that, you know, is fundamentally different to you with the navigation of you at least have... Oh, that's right. Yeah, anywhoosie. So, like, you know, you'll meet people in fandoms that are meant to be, like, you know, fundamentally different to yourself, but using common ground, you will find a way to communicate with them. And, you know, at some point, yes, you will find people that you will just not be able to get along with and what have you. But because of the skills you've gained in, like, you know, schooling and fandom and what have you, you will learn to be able to, like, either tolerate them, so then that way, like, if they are in a work environment or, you know, dealing with them on a regular basis, you then do that without exhausting yourself. But it was nice visiting you. Not to worry, Jack. Thank you so much for following me yesterday and watching my stream this evening. I greatly appreciate it. I hope I'll see you another time. I will be streaming Wednesday night as well. But yeah, like, I've been called Papi Chulo way too many times this past week. It's cute, though. I appreciate it a lot. I might upload workout pics. Honestly, like, you know, make connections on Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm personally on Blue Sky myself, so, and I know there's like a number of furries on there as well. It's a pretty good spot. They have really great moderation tools as well. It is not too heavily like algorithm, you know, promoted, so unfortunately, like, if you, like, your feed will be created by accounts that you follow, lists that you pin, and what have you. So you will need to contribute to Blue Sky and interact with its systems in order to get, you know, something. A lot of people forget that. Like, that's how Facebook and MySpace and Twitter and Tumblr, that's how you got started. And then it's only after, you know, years of being on the platform that it's like, oh, it directs you in one way or another. Okay. So Dante, like, defeats all the different people. He defeats echoes of Trish, Dante, Eve, and then himself. And with all that, he gets back through Limbo, getting to the Garden Paradise or what have you. And because of demonstration of his power, he is now able to, like, control demons and shit. I could definitely see all of this have been the layout for, like, a sequel. But, you know, that's not happening with the way Devil May Cry went, or DMC went, from people's, like, fan reaction and what have you, and how Capcom and its, like, head of decided to interact with fandoms and what have you. B rank, no items used. Awesome! You have completed Virgil's downfall. Nice. Found your Twitter. Excellent. I don't use Twitter that much. Check out Blue Sky. Actually, does the command work? BSKY? Yeah, it does. Awesome. So yeah, so we had Virgil's Downfall and Devil May Cry, and we've got both of those done now. SOS, Son of Sparta. Playthrough with the strongest, beat the game Son of Sparta, unlock this mode. Stronger enemies, remixed enemy ways, beat the game on any difficulty to unlock this mode. And then we have secret missions, where a lot of them are locked because I didn't find them. And then that one I wasn't able to win. And then we've got Bloody Palace. I'm not going to deal with that. Oh, we got 2, like, thingamadiggy points we could apply to something. Kicker, and let's put you in there. And then items. We barely have enough points for anything. Alright. Yeah, so we finished it. I'll need to find something else to play on Mondays. So, actually, this is probably a really good time to chat with viewers about this game, honestly. So, But yeah, where's my brain at? My brain is somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. My brain is somewhere. But yeah, so... Brain. Come on, brain, you can do this. Actually, let me just, like, face, like, a little bit forward. There we go. So yeah, so... You prefer Bayonetta edit myself? That might be something worth playing in the future. There is a lot of games that I have personally not gone through before. I know I had like a poll for whether it was going to be Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Solid, because I've not gone through the Metal Gear Solid series. I know a lot of people, like, actually that's not true. I've played Phantom Pain long ago, before I did streaming. And I went through Phantom Pain with so much confusion and what have you. I barely know what happened in Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2. I kind of know what happens in Metal Gear Solid 3, or Metal Gear Solid Delta as it's called. And Metal Gear Solid 4, that was exclusively for the PlayStation 4, or the PlayStation 3, sorry, and I have no idea how I would get around to playing Metal Gear Solid 4. So that's one sort of game. Another game to try and play would be, blah, 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 blah. Gears of War, because, you know, Xbox Game Pass. Apparently they just released a remastered version of Gears of War for the PlayStation and such, and that's available to Xbox users as well. I think that's coming in time with the fact that Helldivers 2 is available on Xbox as well, so there's a bit of a, you know, crossover going off at the end of the month. But yeah, I'll need to have a think about what to play next. I don't have much uploaded on Blue Sky, but I'm happy I've been getting a lot of fan art. Nice. Many of the games that I have played in the past have been a mixture of brand new games that I was like, oh, I'm excited for this game. Like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I was like, oh, I'm excited for this game. Let's go play it. I played Baldur's Gate with Code the Yoshi. I went through Claire Obscure's Expedition 33 this year. I'm going through Death Stranding 2, but I'm gonna be real with you. There are some video games like that are, you know, being released brand new, and I'm like, I am just falling out of, like, I don't do the streaming full time. I only do, like, you know, 2 or 3 streams a week if I'm lucky. So I'm going through a direction where I'm gonna try and avoid picking up brand new games, and instead focus on games that have, like, either they've already been released and they might have had a remaster or something like that in recent memory, such as like the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. I think I have that on my PlayStation as well, so that might be something I do on Mondays. And then, or I go through Gears of War, that's on the PC. My PC has, I think my PC will be okay for, you know, my 3D VTuber with the video game while streaming at the same time. I'm definitely gonna need to, you know, find time to test that to see what the quality will be like for people who come to the stream and what have you, because it has been a while since I've, you know, streamed with the PC focus, especially since, like, and I've not done it with the CPU that I currently have in my PC. I used to have a really powerful CPU, which was really great for multitasking when I wanted to stream, host the, you know, the 3D VTuber you see before you, and play the video game. I've had some hardware faults on my PC, which isn't great, so I've had to, you know, get myself a CPU to help to help tide me over. It's not as powerful as my previous one, but it's enough to, you know, get my PC up and running and hopefully be good with some of the video games that I want to play, especially if I want to play older video games rather than, you know, the brand spanking news. Because as tempting as it would be going through Monster Hunter Wilds again and again and again, yeah, I don't want to test that. Right now, my friend convinced me to make a Friday Night Funkin' mod for Solaris. Never played Solaris before. Is that why you picked your name Solaris Lion? Because of Solaris? Is it an RTS? I'm not too sure what it is. But yeah, I will need to have a think. I will need to have a think about the next video game to play. Originally, if I had, like, you know, if I kept my Discord public and what have you, I would have like maybe have, you know, done a poll or something like that. But I'm probably just gonna ask on Blue Sky and Twitter, because at least with Twitter there's like the poll option. I can be like, hey, what's a video game I should be going through next now that I've got through I've got Devil May Cry 5 I need to go through. That's the next game I need to go through on Monday. I will need to test and make sure that the game is okay on when I'm doing multiple things at once, because yeah, because the reason why I was playing this game on a PlayStation was because the game was stuttering no matter what kind of settings I was doing to my PC in order to try and play it without stuttering. And I have a bit of a fear that I am going to go into Devil May Cry 5, the newest Devil May Cry, and that one is going to be stuttering again as well. I am really, really frightened if that is going to be the result of going through DMC 5 on this PC, especially since I've had to downgrade my CPU to, you know, a functional one, what have you. It's a play on words for Sunny Dragon. I have 2 lion personas, Solaris and Luna. I just thought Solaris sounded cool. Solaris is a cool name. Look, I cannot fault people for how they name their personas, okay, Solaris? People have some really clever, juices in them, all right? Especially since, you know, the name that I've gone with for mine is GrantZeebs. I go with the name Grant. What's the persona? A zebra. And I didn't know this at the time, but turns out there's a species of zebra called GrantZeebs, which is the funniest thing coming to realization of that, where there's a subspecies of zebra with my name. Obviously, it's not, you know, in reference to me, because that name was made like decades and or like, you know, centuries ago or what have you, when they were categorizing all the different zebras in the savannah. But it's crazy to think that, you know, yeah, I could share Solaris and Luna refs. I just need to draw a cleaner ref for them. No, fair enough. But yeah, otherwise, I am gonna call it here at this hour. Honestly, so yeah, I enjoyed DMC. I very much enjoyed it. Sure, the story is camp. The characters are not like the characters that we got back in DMC 1 through 4. But I'm gonna be real with you. This was a much more fun experience for me than Devil May Cry 1 and 2. Now, the way it's been going for me as well is that I went through Devil May Cry 1, I can understand why it's fun. I went through Devil May Cry 2, that was more fun than Devil May Cry 1. I went through Devil May Cry 3, that was more fun than Devil May Cry 2, and by extension, Devil May Cry 1. I went through Devil May Cry 4, I had a little bit of a misgiving with it. Like, there's some aspects of it that's better than Devil May Cry 1 and 2, and some aspects that are better than Devil May Cry 3. I would put this DMC reboot in the same sort of category as Devil May Cry 4. There are aspects of this that are better than Devil May Cry 1 and 2, but it's not the best that DMC has offered. I would put this in the same sort of thing as, like, you know, DMC 3, DMC 4. Like, I would say these three games so far have been, like, you know, highly recommend, you know, and you can take criticism of it and such, whereas Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 2, there's a big asterisk, which is those 2 games were trying to figure out what the Devil May Cry series was going to be about. The style meter was, you know, a fresh thing. The lock-on camera was something that you were fighting with constantly. They did all these improvements when it came to Devil May Cry 2, but there were still some teething issues in terms of pacing, in terms of characters and weapons. And they figured that all out in Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 4, they've done some improvements here and there. Like, to, you know, be with the third person over the shoulder instead of being, like, you know, tight, like, you know, third person, like, locked frames or, you know, locked reference. But then there was some stuff that wasn't exactly the same, such as the dismissal of, you know, various weapons like you had back in Devil May Cry 3. Have a good one, handsome. Gotta go. Not to worry. Before everyone else disappears, however, let's go and see who is online and who we can go and raid. Let's see. We've got Oz Lupo going through Black and White. We've got Alfred going through this. We got Kusaki going through Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks like they're getting close to the end. I don't want to get spoiled for it. I'm not playing Donkey Kong Bonanza on stream. That one is like I'm playing personally, like offline and what have you. So let's avoid Donkey Kong Bonanza and let's have a look at someone else. Let's go for Oz Lupo. Looks like they've been playing for the last 5 hours, though. Are they going to be at it for a while longer? Hopefully so. All right. If you are wondering what our raid message is going to be, we're going to just do the arrival emote. Ding. And it's just going to, oh wait, hang on. I have an easy button. We're going to go with the short and sweet himbo raid. So hopefully you'll join in with me on that one. If you are not subscribed, that is okay. You're welcome to use whatever other kinds of emotes that you want. And otherwise, thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. It feels good doing a proper, minimum 3-hour stream for you and not, getting buzzed out or, getting, low energies after an hour or after a few minutes. I will be back online Wednesday night after work. I'll be going through more of Death Stranding 2. We'll see how we go with that. And then that will be it for me scheduled for the week. Oh, that reminds me, I need to actually update my schedule on the Twitch side so then that way it doesn't show the Saturday stream. But yeah, I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are. I hope to see you all Wednesday night. Otherwise, I'll hopefully see you all next time. Bye for now. Eee!